Obstructive uropathy. Obstructive lesions of the urinary tract may be congenital or acquired. The structural or functional disorder leading to impaired urinary flow. Etiology: mechanical and functional. Mechanical: common anatomical sites. Then congenital anomalies. In common anatomical sites, the crossing of the ureter at the pelvic rib and the UVJ, these sites have the tendency to be involved either by kinds of intraluminal blocks. Then congenital anomalies like ureteroceles, ectopic ureters, etc. Then inflammations, post-surgical infective or idiopathic. Then intraluminal blocks, clots, stones, papillary slough or fungal balls. Then neoplasms, intrinsic or extrinsic, particularly gynecological and GI. Example, colorectal. Then functional causes. See the line with the neural and myogenic anomalies that impair the contractile or propulsive capacity of the urinary tract. Then neurogenic medications, myogenic. Pathophysiology of obstructive uropathy. Unilateral ureteral occlusion, triphasic pattern of renal blood flow and ureteral pressure changes. During the first 1 to 2 hours, renal blood flow increases and is accompanied by a high pressure in tubule and collecting system pressure. Another 3 to 4 hours, the pressure remains elevated but renal blood flow begins to decline. After 6 hours, further decline in RPF and decreases in PR and also the collecting system pressure. Alterations in flow dynamic within the kidney occurs due to changes in the biochemical and hormonal milieu regulating renal resistance. Phase 1, the increased P is counterbalanced by an increase in renal blood flow while net renal vasodilation, which limits the fall of GFR. Phase 2 and 3, in increases in different anterior resistance occurs causing a decreased RPF. Assessment. The assessment of urinary tract anomalies include history of the neonate at the time of birth and his family history. Then a physical examination to determine obvious defects. Then continuing observation for pertinent clinical manifestations. Then presence of an abnormal amount of amniotic fluid or an abnormal number of umbilical cord vessels may be an important finding related to urinary tract anomalies. Physical assessment. The physical assessment finding of the distended bladder or an abdominal mass of an palpation of the abdomen should prompt further investigation. The nurse and parent should observe the amount and color of the urine and pattern of voiding. The strength of urinary stream in male infant is significant because dribbling, weak or deflected stream may indicate an obstruction of urinary flow. Then infection of urinary tract due to a stasis is suspected when infant has an elevation of temperature, pyuria and possible convulsions. Diagnostic procedures. First one, history collection, physical examination, then cystoscopic examination and retrograde pyelography may be done. Then catheterization may be done immediately after voiding to determine the amount of residual urine in the bladder. Then intravenous urography is used to visualize urinary tract and to measure renal excretory function. Then urine culture to find the urine infection. Blood test to determine the renal function. Excretory urography applies anatomic and functional information limit us the patients with renal insufficiency. Then retrograde pylography. It gives accurate details of urethral and collecting system anatomy. Antegrade pylography. It can do if RGP is not possible and other imaging doesn't offer enough details. Nuclear renography provides functional assessment without contrast. Then CT scan, MRI, treatment. A partial urinary tract obstruction in the absence of infection can be initially managed with analgesics and prophylactic antibiotic until a complete urologic evaluation is performed and definitive management is completed. Commonly used antibiotics include trimethoprim, sulfamethoxazole, and nitrofurantoin. Surgical therapy. The goal of surgical intervention is to completely relieve the urinary tract obstruction. The recovery of renal function depends on the severity and duration of the obstruction. Lower urinary tract obstruction, that means bladder or urethra, can be relieved with the following. Urethral catheter. A urethral catheter is a flexible external catheter that extends from the bladder to the urethra. The catheter can be left indwelling or an alternative the patient can perform clean intermittent catheterization. Then suprapubic catheter. If a Foley catheter cannot be passed, a suprapubic catheter can be placed percutaneously or in an opening fashion. Then upper urinary tract obstruction, urethral stent and nephrotomy tube. Urethral stent. A urethral stent is a flexible tube that extends from the renal pelvis to the bladder. It can be placed during cystoscopy to relieve obstruction along any point in the urethra. Then nephrostomy tube. A nephrostomy tube is a flexible tube that is placed through the back directly into the renal pelvis. Nursing care, preoperative care. Preoperative, the parents must be prepared for postoperative appearance of their infant because of the number of tubes that may be in place on the body. The type of tubes may be used in the urological surgery of children. Catheters which drain urine from any site in urinary tract such as the kidney, ureters or bladder. Stent or tubes which are internal spleens to ensure the patency of an anastomosis or to carry urine past a surgical site without leakage. Drains which provide a way for leaking urine to reach the surface of the body so that pooling of urine and subsequent infection doesn't occur. Then post-operative care. The nurse measures the output of every individual catheter and record the amount separately. Care must be taken to prevent contamination of catheter. Nurse should check for any blockage in the catheter, any kinds of twist. A blocked catheter must be irrigated with normal saline. Infant's hand should be restrained so that he doesn't pull out the catheter. The nurse must observe the color of the urine drainage after surgery. It may be bright red due to presence of blood. Within 1-2 days, it becomes darker because previously clotted blood is dissolving. After 4 to 7 days, the urinary drainage will become nearly normal in color. The nurse should explain these changes to the parents to allay their anxiety. If at any time during postoperative period urine appears to be red, it should be reported to the physician. After urologic surgery, the trauma of procedure of presence of catheter in bladder may cause bladder spasm and pain. This can be cause restlessness in infants and abdominal or suprapubic discomfort in older children. After the nurse makes certain that the catheter is not kicked or obstructed, medications such as antispasmodic agents may be given as prescribed. Thank you.